TheDraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Welcome everyone. This is a strange new setup from us, as it is currently Ryan and myself on the pod today. Hi Ryan.
Hello Totti, how are you, my good sir?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Splendid.
We are expecting Genie at some point. He has just texted us that he will be hella late, so we'll see what that means. So today we had planned to do last straw and talk about some of your streamers and whatnot, but just to fill in the time before Genie arrives, hopefully, we thought we'd posit you a question to tell us some of the issues that you're facing, some of the questions that you have about this draft fantasy game that we have, so that we can talk about those. Before we move in, I do not have Joe's AI voice recorded to do the intro, so we'll just skip through that. The Draft Society, the Key Pass Collective is the audio companion to the Draft Society, where you have everything that you need to dominate your fantasy league, draft fantasy league. You have ranks, weekly waiver articles, sleepers 11, ghost point hunters, useful draft stats, and projected lineups this season. We are proud of those, as we have constantly outdone our competitors in getting them pretty spot on most of the time, and it's due to Draft Lad's incredible work that he does. We have a promotion going that started on Cyber Monday that gets you 50% off the Ultimate Pass. So you will be able to buy the Ultimate Pass for $35. You have to write Cyber Draft in the little space that says write in your promo code, and with that, you get all the paid stuff plus the fantasy toolkit, which is updated every week, every day. Any fantasy toolkit related stories that you can tell us, Ryan? And how often do you go on the toolkit? How do you use it?
So I kind of have my own inclinations based on what I saw over the game week, and I put in kind of a knee-jerk couple waivers in my leagues, say Sunday night, Monday night, and then I go in to the toolkit to kind of confirm or recalibrate and see if I'm missing anybody, see if my kind of own suspicions are confirmed, and just kind of follow that process. So I have my own inclinations, and then I try and make sure that they're not completely off the wall, and see if I'm missing anybody via the toolkit. Because I mean, you can try and keep track of the comings and goings in your waiver wire, but especially when the games come thick and fast. It's really hard to keep track of everybody, and somebody that's valuable could slip. And so I think the toolkit is really good about listing all of the viable players, and sometimes you can miss some folks. So I think that's really valuable. Yeah, fixture difficulty tracker, especially over the holiday season, is also pretty valuable. Trying to figure out, which teams players are probably going to be good streamers over the festive season. I've used the trade calculator quite a bit as well. So, yeah, a little this, a little that.
Yeah. I remember a few years back when we were playing barefoot without the toolkit.
Those are simpler times.
Yeah, much simpler. But we were one of the sort of big hacks that we would tell everyone to do is to look through the players that were dropped during the game week when you were setting up your waivers, because some valuable players might have been dropped, and if you're just going through the top 50 or top 100 in the waivers, then you might miss them. But now the toolkit does that for you. So if there are some outliers, like I think this week was the first, or this short week was the first where I think some of the folks really got lineup screwed. So I saw Kevin Schade being dropped after his 50-pointer. I saw Joe Gomez being dropped. I saw Ilman Ndiaye being dropped. So a bunch of players who you would consider not droppable, but due to the Merseyside derby being postponed and some rotation issues, people were dropped, and so yeah, you need to check the toolkit to see if some big name players were dropped, and so you don't forget about putting waiver bids in.
Indeed. Well, it looks like we got some questions.
Yeah, we do. Let's go through them.
Yeah, you want to go chronological order? I can kick off with one, and then we can just switch
Yeah.
off. Yeah, old Scruffy.
Let's do old Scruffies. Palmer or Saka rest of the season? Does Palmer not playing in Europe factor in your pick?
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be biased, but I'll try and put forward a non-biased Saka opinion. Not playing in Europe doesn't really factor because Arteta's going to run Saka into the ground. He doesn't rotate him. So the fact that they're in Champions League doesn't really do much on that front. So I think that somewhat nullifies it, unless obviously the cumulative starts and lack of rest result in injury, God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what he's referring to, as Palmer has not even been named in the Conference League squad.
Yeah, I mean, I might keep him a bit more fresh, but like Saka, again, knock on wood, has still been pretty immune to long injury layoff. So that I guess it's a tiny plus, but I don't think it really moves me. I think Palmer's a bit more of a flat track bully, and so I think he'll have probably a few more monster scores. But one, I think he's a flat track bully, and two, I think he's still pretty penalty reliant. I think obviously you take away those two pens from Spurs, and it's not as impressive. And so, yeah, I think Palmer will have some bigger monsters because of it. But I think Saka rest of season will still probably finish just above him. But it's really close. It's nip and tuck. I mean, you'd be thankful to have either of them on your squad.
Yeah, I don't think there is any way that you are either getting either of these players like not giving up premium or selling them without blowing up your team. So yeah, if this is a trade inspired question, I don't think Palmer and Saka are moving in most of the leagues. For what it's worth, I think, and I would be positively surprised by the Chelsea sensibleness turnaround if Palmer didn't get added to the Conference League squad for the um, next stretch of the game. So you're allowed to add players during the January transfer window, and I think Palmer being added was always planned, and I think he's going to be added. So in that sense, from then on, there will be no comparative bonus for Palmer not being in Europe, unless like cumulative fatigue factors in. But yeah, I'm with you. I think both are probably 1-2 or 1-2-3 with Salah currently.
Yeah, I was kind of debating putting in a cheeky Salah for Saka bid in one of my leagues, but I'm pretty happy with that squad and the balance of it. And I got a good midfield, and then yeah, I got 3 top forwards, and I kind of like Salah in there to add a little bit extra. Plus, I have Saka in one of my other leagues, so I decided against it. But I would be curious if it would be potentially accepted. I think it would really just depend on one of those weeks where Saka blanks and Salah goes nuts. Like if I did it right after one of those, I bet it probably would be accepted. But they're pretty close to.
Yeah. I think those 3 are neck and neck.
Yep.
Okay, let's go with Tom's.
This is a good question.
Yes. Partway through the season, what are you guys' thoughts on the changes to default this year? Have you seen yourself more likely to play 4+ defenders?
I think oddly enough, it's improved. Obviously, the prospects for defenders, but at the same time, I feel like this season I'm going, I think 3 at the back in every one of my leagues, unless I get really jammed up, because it just seems like there's fewer set and forget defenders, and like, yeah, you can stream this season because of the all defenders have a kind of a chance given the stat changes, but it's still pretty tricky because I feel like there's fewer clean sheets and they're really random. So I don't know about you, but I have no qualms about going 5 at the back if it makes sense, as you well know. But
Yeah.
this season, for whatever reason, I'm going 3 because yeah, like I said, I don't think there's that many set and forget defenders. So if I'm going to be streaming, like I'd rather take a chance on a mid 4 than a defender 4, if that makes sense.
It does. At the end of the day, you're with your streaming defenders, you're still stuck chasing clean sheets, aren't you? Like you're not gonna be able to pick up on the day 3 p.m.er defender that will give you a robust enough ghost point floor so that you don't want to chase clean sheets. So your fun hacks, your Olainas, your Tyreek Mitchells, your Dan Burns, they are there to chase clean sheets, I think, and that's why. So I think overall this is like kind of the biggest scoring change that has happened in the last few years, and I think it's achieved its intended role. Like there are much more usable defenders. Like it is a genuine question whether you pick up Alex Moreno or I don't know, Lewis Cook or someone like that. But I think we are a bit late. We're a bit late to react. I have one league where I have Milenkovic, Trent, and Tarkowski, and I routinely play 4 or 5 at the back in that league, and it's been working well there as well. But you need premium defenders to be able to do so. You can't stream 5 defenders.
Yeah.
Still, so they haven't been overpowered, but they've kind of come back up to usable stream, I think, and that was the objective.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do Mr. Nauruz. Who's the best wing back in the Prem, and why is it Amad Diallo?
I mean, obviously it's Matt Doherty. I think we can move on.
Yeah, this week surely has cemented his place as the best wing back.
Ledge.
I'm gonna say it's Daniel Munoz, who
He's got a little mini resurgence. Had a tough start.
Who is the highest scoring defender in the league right now?
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. What's the top 5? I haven't looked at this at all.
I mean, you'll be able to get the top 5, but I wouldn't have gotten Munoz as number 1. So Munoz,
sure. Collins, Trent,
Collins, Porro, Robinson, and Van Dijk. Those are your top 5. Van Dijk is a bit surprising because I don't think he's been lights out, but those early season clean sheets are propping up.
Yeah, and a couple goals.
Yeah, and he has 1 goal and 1 assist, so that actually helps. Guardiol, Trent, Leif Davis, Tarkowski, and Luka Dean make up the top 10.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So yeah, as for Amad Diallo, I will confess to you and to the 20 people that are listening right now, and the few hundred that will listen on, obviously, on a recorded pod, that I talked to a friend of the pod, Shiv, about some lineup stuff and who to keep and who to drop 2 weeks before Ruben Amorim came in, and I advised him to drop Amad Diallo because he was getting nowhere near the starting 11. He didn't take my advice, and he's been enjoying the Amad Diallo resurgence. We need the rest of the season to properly assess how United will look in the long run. I think it's still early days. Like, if we are trying to translate this to a usable fan tracks question, would you trade out Amad Diallo? And the question is an emphatic yes, I think.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that much name recognition. I mean, I think in our circles he certainly does, but I think if you're in a random league, I don't think what you could potentially get from him in the market would be worth dealing him out. So I'd be wary of that. And I think maybe more of the competitive leagues where he's probably a bit more highly rated, then I would test the waters, I'd say.
Yeah, that's fair. But
but from going from the highs of very early season to being almost proclaimed dead, and now this little mini resurgence as a wingback, he's had quite the season.
Yeah, five assists in his last 4 starts. I don't think that's even close to sustainable. And I'm obviously saying trade out if you have United fan who is fawning over him like Mr. Nauru. So if you are in the league with Mr. Nauru, sell him Amad Diallo for all his riches.
Yes, indeed.
This is right up your wheelhouse. Is Andy Robertson straight up droppable if cannot be traded at this point?
Yes. I think I'd keep him on my roster to kind of stream. But if push came to shove and I needed to drop him, I'd be okay dropping him.
Yeah.
He's just not the force that he was.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has become very clean sheet dependent, and while the clean sheets were coming early in the season, they have dropped off somewhat lately, and there is the threat
Simi's coming back soon.
Of Simi coming back and staking claim for at least a timeshare for that spot. We've seen it somewhat with Trent that slots, wing backs or fullbacks are not as overpowered as they were under Klopp, so that also factors in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't hate dropping him. We are embarking on a very tough schedule run that will require very big decisions from managers to be able to field full 11. So if that big decision is dropping Andy Robertson, then yeah, and I don't think he'll be picked up for a ton of fab. Like if he was on my waiver wire right now, I would probably bid for him around 10, 15, 20 fab max, but I wouldn't bid more.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I would even go for him, to be honest. I guess
I mean, I can understand not going for him, but if you're going for him, you're gonna need to pay somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's worth it, but
let's go to our next question. Who are the best pairings for Chelsea handcuffs? Ugh.
Oh God, man.
This is a nightmare.
I guess it seems like Madueke and Neto, but I've also seen them play together. Jesus. So
And
Sancho
we've seen Sancho and Neto play together. Yeah. I think yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like having Neto and one of those two seems to be like a somewhat safe play, as you'll at least get one of them maybe.
Yeah.
But the Nkunku and Jackson, I guess, because the few times that Jackson's not played and been Nkunku, but Nkunku doesn't start enough on his own to really warrant a rest of season hold.
So yeah, I think Felix and Nkunku are droppable.
Yeah.
I don't think either should be held unless there's a short week or unless there is clear indication from Maresca that they're gonna have rotation at the weekend. Other than that, I mean, I hate handcuffs. I've said it 1,000 times, and this one seems like at the beginning of the season, I was confident in saying you don't want a piece of this because it's gonna be hell for rotation and not very good for production. But it seems like it's decent enough for production. So you if you can get a piece of it, then I picked up Sancho before the transfer and I have him in one of my leagues, but yeah, I'm not gonna move a lot of stuff to get him on a handcuff. I'd rather trade him out to get someone to handcuff if they offer enough value. But like I just don't. The only reason you might want to consider the handcuff is because of the Europa League involvement or Conference League involvement that gets them. Is it Europa League? It's Europa League, isn't it?
Conference League.
Conference League, yeah. So Conference League is on Thursdays, so they will get the later
Sunday
slots,
slot, yeah.
the Sunday slots. So that's why you're going to be jammed up. But that could also mean that you have two spots on your roster saved for Chelsea attackers, and none of them start, which was arguably even worse than having one that doesn't start, and then you can't rely on him. So
yeah, there's no tried and true cuff in the Chelsea attack, really.
is there even a tried and true
Chilwell and
cuff?
Alonso anymore?
Yeah, there's no Chilwell and Alonso. There's no. What were the Walker and what was? There were Spurs cuffs. There were the archetypal cuffs, weren't there? Who were they? The Spurs wingbacks like 5 years back.
Oh, Walker and Trips and
Walker and Trips,
Davies and Danny Rose.
Yeah, those were the archetypal cuffs because they rotated enough so that both were valuable.
Yeah,
but
they were
both offered value. I don't think maybe it's an out there statement, but I don't think there is a cuff worth having right now in the draft game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Martinelli and Trossard is close, but I mean, at the moment, it doesn't seem worthwhile. I don't think I have one across any of my leagues, really. It's a good point. I think the cuff might be dead.
I had Reece Nelson and Adama in one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do have that in one, but I just dropped Reece because of the injury, so that one's dead.
That was dead. Maybe pick up Harry Wilson so that he can keep the cuff, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah, screw that guy.
But anyways, the cuff is, if it's not dead, it's dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we have evolved from the cuffs.
We've liberated ourselves.
Yeah. So next question is, who has been the biggest first round flop from this year's draft? Don't think that's close.
Suspect you're gonna say Foden.
I am. Do you have another entry to this?
Ooh. I mean,
echelon.
I saw Eze goes high as 5, and while he hasn't been as bad as Foden, I mean, like, you can't say that he's been warranted a top 5 pick. There's been a fair amount of flops, to be fair, in the first round. But
Isak hasn't been lights out either.
No, I mean, I've seen Gordon go first round. Obviously KDB.
Watkins
Son has been okay.
Who other than the 3 players that we already talked about, Saka, Palmer, and Salah, who has been, like, none of the other consensus first round picks have been without blemish, have they?
No, not really. I mean, the ballers were the Mbomos and Cunhas that you could get in the 3rd and 5th.
I mean, you could get Cunha in the 5th.
Yeah. So yeah, outside of those top 3, it was a minefield. I mean, Odegaard has been just because of the injury. He was taken between 8 and 10, so he was. He's been a flop so far just because of the injury. So, yeah, I can't think of one outside of the top 3. That's really panned out. I mean, Holland's been okay, but he was taking 1 or 2.
Yeah, for
So
one or two.
he's been a
So
flop for that, based on that.
exactly, if you're someone who took Holland number 1 and you're seeing Saka, Palmer, and Salah do what they are doing, you're kicking yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Because after those 4, I think we had this tier sewn up anyway, pre-draft. So after those 4, there were question marks around everyone. I still think Foden currently has a 6.11 ADP. And he has scored 58 points. That is atrocious.
Yeah.
5 points per game.
That's
That
wild.
is so bad. It's last year's Grealish-esque.
Yeah, I'm so glad I stayed away.
And that's the other side of the coin. Who has been your diamond in the rough, a waiver wire pickup who ended up as a high value hold?
I mean, I gotta compartmentalize this because the first 5 or 6 weeks, I mean, I got Adama super late.
Adama. I
so
got him in 14th or 15th.
yeah, I got him in 1 in the 16th round. So in terms of that period of time, there's been nobody better. But Damsgaard sticks out. He's been lights out, and you could have got him on a free after the first couple weeks.
Yeah, Damsgaard, Iwobi, Semenyo. I think all 3 of them were probably drafted in a competitive 12-team league, but not expected to be this good.
I mean, we talked about Cunha and Mbomo. God, Kai had his moments, but I'll tell you, man, I should just take Bowen every single season.
Oh man, bro.
Honestly, like the dude just doesn't miss, and he doesn't kind of fluctuate. He's just always available, that kind of late second, early third area. And the dude's just guaranteed production. Every time I've taken him, I've been pleased. So like he might be one of those guys where like I take him every season until he stops.
Yeah, until he goes to Liverpool or Arsenal as a backup.
Bailey sticks out as a flop, unfortunately. 4th or 5th rounder that's just been atrocious as well.
But if you are strictly talking, like strictly has not been drafted in any of the leagues, my pick would be either Strand Larsen.
Oh, he's been good.
He's been very good. Or Lamina.
Yeah, he's had his moments. He was lights out earlier in the season. He's kind of leveled off a bit, but he's still a solid mid-5. I forgot to mention Wood. That was Wood and Iwobi were in my underrated article, and like I fucking nailed those.
Yeah, you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, 100%. And I just don't get it because basically the article wrote itself in terms of those two. It's just like you look just at the sheer numbers, and they've, for whatever reason,
and their availability and their opportunity to play and to get minutes on good teams.
And and their production. It's just like it doesn't equate to how they're being valued, and I know it sometimes it's not pretty, but I just didn't understand it. So,
and you got them in your leagues, and then you're winning your game.
Yeah, totally.
That's how it goes. Cues us up nicely to the Damsgaard recommendation, which came early from us and has probably solidified some people's midfields.
Yeah, totally. I was thankful I got him in 1, but kicking myself for not punting him in the other 2.
Yeah, Nathan Collins as a pickup.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's been one of the few. I talked about the lack of set and forget defenders. He's been randomly been one of them.
Yeah. Have you heard any news from our good friend? Maybe.
I have not. So
Or
if we don't have any more questions, then I think we can probably just get started.
yeah, let's do that. We can do the quiz. It's just, I mean,
Starter.
it's not a proper quiz. I just had to look at the category leaders and picked up some of the interesting ones, and then had to look at some of our cumulative stats that DraftLab does for our draft metrics, and had to look at some interesting ones. But let's not do it competitively. Just talk about some of the interesting findings. So this one was the first one that I had to look at, and it really shocked me. So after Palmer and Saka, who do you think has the third most key passes? Third and fourth are like, what the fuck?
Ooh, that is a good question. Ooh.
So one is no.
Damsgaard?
Almost. Damsgaard is like 24th. Not that
obscure.
Not as obscure, but it's still very surprising. I don't have them in any of my leagues, so that's why maybe it helped with the surprise. Bowen is right after them. So Bowen is 5th. We're looking at third, and no, it will be. We have guesses. It will be McNeil.
No, McNeil. Yeah.
McNeil is in the top 10, but not there. Kulusevski is in the top 10 as well, but not top 4. Bruno is 10th, which is surprising. So the people you have been looking for in your brain are number 3 for key passes. 1, Yuri Tielemans with 37 key passes, and number 4 is 1 Leif Davis.
Wow,
that is shocking, to be honest.
That really is. I mean, that just goes to show you how much of his scores are being drowned out by goals conceded.
Yes. Yeah.
If he was a midfielder, I would love to see what numbers he'd be picking up.
Yeah, he would be top 5, I think. He's been even as defender and on Ipswich, he's been consistently very, very good. Like you would probably play him every week. Not many surprises on shots on target. The highest scoring midfielder that is not Palmer for shots on most shots on target.
I think Bowen's up there.
Bowen's up there, but this dude has 3 more shots on target than Bowen, and it's not Saka as well.
Someone like Madueke.
It is Noni Madueke.
Fuck, man, and 60% of them are from that Wolves game.
Yes. I mean, he had 5 against Southampton and 5 against Wolves. So half of his shots on target are in two games.
Yeah, talk about flat track bullying, my God.
Yes. Yeah. But still, I mean, it's early days, so these are probably gonna shake out as we expect them to. But it's still interesting to see these players at the top. Tackles one is a shit show. We have Munoz at the top, then Caicedo, then Christiansen, then
Christensen.
Lamina,
Wow.
and then Trent in the top five for tackles one.
That's interesting for him. I'd have to go back to the stats, but I wouldn't think that he would be. Previously, he'd be in the top conversation for that category. I think the slot machine is making him win tackles.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Um, yeah, so the others are just normal stuff. Two Fulham defenders in the top three for interceptions. Robinson, obviously,
God, that is.
and Kenny Tete. Adama not in the top 10 for successful dribbles.
Yeah, since we roster him, we know that that's been a weird. Even during his little run early on in the season, it wasn't really successful dribble based, which is, I think, crazy. I think Opta must be screwing him on that.
Yeah, and we know that. We know that Opta has it out for him. Fatabu still in the top 10, regardless of him being injured for the last month.
Yeah, guessing it's still like Kudus, Doku, those.
Yeah, Kudus, Sanjy, Doku, Semenyo, Bowen.
Yeah.
So these are the interesting ones are the ones that we have as stats, I think. Top players for goal, assist, clean sheet, reliance, based on our numbers on the Draft Society.
Isak's usually up there.
No, not in the top 10 at least.
Madueke up there?
No. We have a ton of forwards, as you might expect. So you have the heavy hitters like
Jimenez,
Jackson, Salah, and Wood, and Vardy.
Yeah, of course.
Jota has a shocking 62% reliance. Jan Wissa, 61%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Adam Armstrong, 63%. But the interesting one is Rico Lewis with 64%.
Yeah, that dude just does not ghost. And you'd think that he would.
Yeah.
Weird.
Strange. Weird. Two more before we move on. Points per start over performance. So we are looking at players who were projected to score something and are scoring higher than they had been projected to score.
Gotta think Visa's probably putting away most of his chances.
Yep. Not top 5 though.
Ooh.
So this is a strange category because 3 of these players, Saka, Diaz, and Salah, I would expect to overperform anyway. So just to be better. But the top 2 are overperforming, I think, mostly not because they are better than what they're projected to score. Sancho is overperforming his projected scores by 5 points per start. He's been projected to score around 10, and he has a points per start of 15. And João Pedro is overperforming by 3.6.
And these are fantasy score projections?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know we could get those.
This is our projections.
Well, I didn't know that we could twist them as such.
And the underperformers are McGinn, Gordon, Eze, and Rice.
I mean, there's nobody better projected than Harvey Elliott.
But he doesn't actually score. So
Yeah.
this is
The
weighted.
minute he does, he's top.
Yeah, this is weighted for 10 starts, so I don't think he will actually reach the threshold to be considered for these kind of comparisons. But yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
Yeah, some interesting stats. Obviously, we're still early days, but some trends are definitely there. I think the main one I took away from this exercise was that Jared Bowen was in the top 5 for all attacking categories.
Yeah, dude's a monster, and like in a West Ham team that just looks dreadful. So like, again, all roads lead to Bowen, and
Yeah,
good
as long
segue
as you
into the fact I'm against him this weekend. Terrifying.
yeah, as long as you have Bowen, you land in.
Yeah,
You have
100%.
to be. Okay, let's move on to our main segment of the day, which is the last straw.
But that's the last straw.
Look at you. You've been studying under the
Tutelage.
tutelage of Joseph. Even though we don't have the AI, I feel like you've memorized all of his moves.
I have. So yeah, the last straw is the players we are almost done with, not quite done with. So not DROP ASAP, but players that we are either on the verge of selling low or dropping. So we have 3 players that we want to talk about, and let's start with your 3, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but Adama's kind of been burning a hole in my roster, especially in the one league where I didn't have Reese cuffing him. Just been waiting for him to get his spot back, and he hasn't. And then obviously he gets a rare start, first since October against Arsenal. I wasn't expecting much, and I didn't start him. Figuring that it would be a bad matchup, but 0 points. The schedule doesn't get much easier from here on out at Liverpool next game week, but Southampton after that is kind of what I'm hanging my hat on, and the fact that the new Reece Nelson injury news gives me a little bit more of a lease on life, but.
Let's tell the listeners what the news is, because some people might not have heard. So we are hearing that Reece Nelson is out for 12 weeks.
Up to 12 weeks. It'll probably be a little bit less than that, but I mean, yeah, he's going to be out for the foreseeable future, and that roster spot in the festive season is going to be very important. So I dropped him once I saw that news. So he had a good run. Got to give it up to him. I think I flagged him previously as one of the pleasant surprises of the season. But yeah, you got to be ruthless and move on. So yeah, he's a drop for me. But Adama's on the chopping block. Needs to put up or shut up soon.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same canoe, if you will. I have him in 2 leagues, and away to Liverpool, and then after the Southampton game, away to Chelsea, and then Bournemouth to close out the year. I mean, I know Adama is Adama, so he will score well, hopefully, if he does start. But I can see Harry Wilson taking his spot on some of these games, and if our luck so far in this fantasy hellscape has been any indication, that Adama will start against Liverpool and Chelsea away, and then Harry Wilson or some other chump will start against Southampton
Yeah.
and Ipswich. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult not to like. I don't want to start him against Liverpool. The only game I'm looking for is Southampton, and then we have the same issue the week after that with Chelsea away.
I don't mind starting him at Chelsea. I mean, it's like they've been impressive, but not like defensively. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Starting him there. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What would you do regarding Iwobi this weekend? Like he's been lights out, bar the performance against.
I think
Arsenal.
he will. I think he will bully the Liverpool midfield.
Really? So you'd start him?
I would start him. I don't think he definitely I don't think he gets a return, but I think he's good for close to 10 without that as well. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, they just didn't have enough of the ball, I guess, against Arsenal, and I guess Liverpool's not as possession dominant under Slot. So
no, not at all.
Yeah,
So,
I guess I should. What about
and facing I like Gravenberch and I like what they've done with him, but I don't think that that's the same as facing Declan Rice.
Yeah. What about Jedi?
I mean, he has enough of a floor that if you have to start him, then I would. But I'd rather. There's some decent streams this weekend. I think decent defender streams this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'd rather stream, but Fulham are good. Fulham are really good. Like we saw against Arsenal.
Yeah.
What did Jedi get against Arsenal?
Not much. I think it was like 6.5 or something. That was only one goal conceded, so not great.
Yeah, no minus for that either.
I just remember I have it like clear in my head that Jedi performance at Anfield where he got like I feel like it was like 11 interceptions and he got like 20 ghost points.
20 something ghost points.
Yeah. So I know obviously that things are different, and I don't know what defenders like that score against Liverpool under Slot. But
if Joe was here, he would say, "Start your studs."
Yeah, I know, but is he enough of a stud to qualify this season? All right, well, yeah, thanks for letting me do my therapy.
Yeah.
So Trevo, pleasant surprise, had a great stretch, but has really fizzled out. 5 PPS over the last 4 games. It's been pretty bad. So I'm thinking about dropping him. But I know the minute I do, he'll go back to his ghosting ways. I don't know if you have a take on Trev.
Yeah, I've been closely monitoring Crystal Palace defenders that are not named Danny Munoz, as in they are or at some point have been streamable or able to pick up, and I think I'm on the I only want Lacroix train.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not like Gay is free in one of my leagues, and he's on overall fantasy points alone. I think I will check now, but I think he was, when I checked these scores, I think he was like a top 10 defender, yet still available in leagues. Okay, maybe not top 10, but 13th highest scoring defender in all the land. And I don't want him. And I don't want Chalobah either.
Yeah.
I think this is a situation where if you have, like, they have at Brighton, at home to Arsenal, at Bournemouth in the next 3. probably wouldn't want to play him in any of the upcoming 3.
Yeah, I have a bid for Jogo in right now, dropping Challo. So
Yeah,
we'll see if it goes through.
I would do that. And then stream anyone who is available closer to kickoffs. And for the 29th of December game against Southampton, I'm fine picking up Tyreek Mitchell as well. So if I don't get to pick Chalobah back up, then don't think he's been, like you said, or you wrote on the doc as well, 5 points per start over the last 4 games. Is that not replacement level?
100%.
Yeah. So he's not. He's past the last straw. He's not been able to hang on to the last straw. The next one's interesting.
Yeah, this is more of a, I would never do it myself, but if I was an impartial human being, I would think about it because, yeah, he's just been in and out of the lineup. He's shown flashes of ghosting, but then the last few cameos have not been great. But you also have to countenance that with the fact that Arsenal's schedule has been really tough. And how much of a injury has he been nursing this whole time? So it's a mixed bag. I'm holding him for this stretch.
Yeah, and surely you could trade him out. He's not droppable, I think. You can find a buyer for him. But yeah, it's strange. At the beginning of the season, when he went off injured at the end of all of the games and then started the next game like there was no problems, I thought he was cut from the Saka cloth, where he always goes off injured at the 95th minute and then plays like there was nothing happening a week before. But it turns out that he's a bit more fragile than that, isn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and now the main threat to his minutes is available and being sounded out by Arteta. Kieran Tierney is back with a vengeance.
I don't know where the vengeance is coming from, but
I mean,
that'll be interesting to see. I think,
dude, that snowy night.
Oh man, don't get me all hot and bothered. That's
Rob Holding, Kieran
him and
Tierney.
Holdinho.
Holdinho. Was that Palace? I think it was Palace, wasn't it?
Nah, West Brom, dude.
West Brom.
Yeah, fucking Hawthorns. You remember you proxied for me in in my big matchup against the worst human being that I've ever gone against in a league, and Lacazette got a hat trick. That game produced 60 points. I mean, it was just epic.
Yeah, but probably his first and last good game.
Yeah, 100%. But it might be Miles Lewis Skelly again. He looked pretty good today. Yeah. Arsenal looked good today against Monaco.
Conversely, Liverpool looked like crap against Girona.
Really?
Yeah, they did not look good. And Slot just went off. Like he said, I know we've won, but we were shit. And we need to do everything better. And I think it wasn't like a rant because he's not that kind of person, but yeah, he tore into the team.
I don't know what to do with Gomez this weekend. I'm just not confident about starting him anymore.
Yeah, and they've looked a bit more shaky haven't they? Yeah. And if he doesn't get a clean sheet, then again, it's something that you can probably replace from free agency, even on the day.
I just don't know. A lot of selection headaches this weekend, but we move. What do you got?
I have some bigger names.
Oh, lordy! I thought I was being controversial with mine. Yikes! Oh
Yes.
God, don't show Joe this.
And yeah, I was debating putting Martinelli in, but then thought Joe is not coming today, so we can talk without him going off on his rant. Totally, fully merited rant, by the way.
I mean, it's
Let's go Martinelli first.
Yeah.
First.
Looked good today as well. But
I've personally heard your lawyer bullshit on Martinelli and your Arsenal bias. I've always loved the guy. I just don't think Arteta loves him.
I mean, he has a strange way of showing that he doesn't by starting him in poor form this whole season, really, and again today. But yeah, he's a frustrating player because he's got so much talent, so much pace and dribbling ability. He doesn't look up. He's a confidence player. He's clearly doesn't have much confidence. The fact that he was offside in that play just destroyed me against Fulham.
Yeah.
Perfectly encapsulates the season. Just super frustrating. How
did he look today?
He looked good. He was very lively. I mean, I hate to say it, but we looked a bit more kind of free flowing. And I don't know if that's because Jesus was up front, or we were just a bit more buccaneering at home, or if Monaco was that bad. I mean, they came into it with a top 10 Champions League side so far, and we just bullied them. We should have had 5 or 6, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
got Everton at home.
It was the rejected Premier League players centre back pairing as well, just like we said with Girona, Salisu and Tilo Kehrer.
Oh, I forgot that was the other guy. Yeah, when I saw Salisu literally gifted Saka the second goal. It was beautiful. I thought I was going to see Bella catch up wandering over there at some point. Yeah, I still, I mean, yeah, call it bias or naivete or whatever. I still feel like Martinelli is going to hit a purple patch this season.
I don't disagree that he's going to have a purple patch. The question is whether, and I think is the question. It's similar conversation with Phil Foden. Like, are you able
survive?
To wait for those purple patches?
I gave up, and I thought it was a steal at the time, and it still might end up being. I still feel like I won the trade, even though Martinelli's been dog shit. Traded Robertson and Mente. I think it was probably about a month ago at this point for Martinelli.
Yeah. I mean, in the last month, he has 3.25 points.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no way around it. He's been super frustrating, and a flop thus far. But
not as frustrating as Mr. Philip.
Yes,
Mr. Philip, player of the season, Foden.
Yeah, God, don't get me started.
2 points in the last 30 days. 2 points.
And this is with an injury crisis where he should be starting week in, week out, and taking this team by the scruff of the neck, and it's just been, AWOL.
Yeah, exactly. And even when
now you have him on every league.
I do. That has to like I think 3 weeks ago, even 3 weeks ago, I was like, Damsgaard and Iwobi is a premium to pay. But you're talking about Phil Foden on a Man City team that he could have 20-point games from now to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking.
What did you pay for him?
Iwobi and Damsgaard.
And separately.
No. There was 2 for 1.
Oh my.
There is a premium, isn't it?
Yes, that is quite a premium. I would not have. Too rich for my blood. Ballsy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean,
in the last month, Foden has missed 2 games and started 2 games. Those 2 are 3.5 against Spurs and minus 1.5 against Liverpool.
wow.
That is wow. That is dog shit. I mean, even last season, I don't know if you remember, we had similar conversations on Jack Grealish, and
Oh,
even
yes, I do.
then, I was saying I'm trying to get Jack Grealish on the cheap, and that wouldn't have worked out if I got him. We have EG traded out Trent for Foden. Am I cooked? You're playing the long game, like myself. If you believe that this hellhole that Man City are in will subside and they will right the ship, like Joe and Ryan said 2 weeks ago on the pod, then even then Trent for Foden is a bit rich, but you're talking about a player who was picked 6th overall and who was, even by all our draft society analysts, projected to be a top 5 or top 6 player. So you're getting value. Whether that value will materialize, that's a bigger question. Let's go on to my third player, Darwin Nunez, who by comparison has been lights out in the last 30 days.
Problem solved. Trade Foden Martinelli for Nunes.
More than double the point total of Martinelli or Foden. Darwin Nunez 8.5 points in the last 30 days.
And this is with Jota out. Like,
This is with Jota out. He
that
was
is
he was
damning.
dropped. He was dropped from the centre forward position in place of, so Luis Diaz started in front of him in the game against City, and in some of the Champions League games as well. And while he was, I think, decent against Arsenal, and kinda had mitigation on him not scoring, where he did well in off the ball, and he did well linking up play. But since then, he was honestly, I was surprised he wasn't taken off at halftime against Newcastle.
No, man.
He was
Yeah, I mean,
so bad.
Those are droppable circumstances, honestly. Especially with Jota coming back. Like, I mean, can probably get something for him on the trade market, but like, push comes to shove. If this was, Darwin O'Reilly, you'd be dropping him.
Exactly. I think he is in a similar boat to what we said about Andy Robertson at the beginning.
Yeah.
Of the
No,
pod.
that's a totally fair point.
If Jota is back and he proves he can play like 60 odd minutes, then I think Darwin is out again. And if you need to drop for a streamer, then I would not. Be against dropping.
Unlike Foden and Martinelli, I just don't see a scenario in which Nunes is able to pull it around.
Exactly, and he has had
Could get worse.
ample opportunities. Nunes, I mean,
Yeah,
he's just not the player that we thought we were buying, and that is fine. He still has resale value in real life. But
yeah.
he's
Bait.
no fantasy value whatsoever.
Yep, I'm so glad that he's somebody else's headache.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went big on the Darwin punt last season, and a few heady moments with the song blaring in the background aside.
Yeah,
Very, very frustrating.
literal goal mouth opportunities. Exactly. Draft
Yeah,
is supposed to.
harder to miss than score.
Yeah. Um, let's go on to streamers and then leave everyone to their days or nights. Um, let's see your streamers. Very exciting names on here. No, I'm genuinely. I like all of these a lot.
um, yeah, I mentioned tongue in cheek. Matt Doherty is the best wingback in the league. He looked like it against West Ham, but that'll happen against the well-drilled Lopetegui side. I was very, very close to streaming him. I had the matchup locked up in one league, and I had a slot left, and I had Tomato in, and I was just like, you know what? I bet if I don't start him, he'll go nuts. And sure enough, got a full house and a goal, 25 plus, without a clean sheet. So looked really dangerous. I know it was West Ham, but it's not like they have a tough matchup this weekend. They have Ipswich at home, so if he starts, and he probably should, given that performance, he's a nice premium defensive streamer this weekend. Today was the first time we finally got to see the Rice, Odegaard, Marino midfield, and it looked pretty tasty. Let's see what happens with Partey, if he's still forced to do right back duty against Everton. But my guess, and this is, there's a possibility he might not start, but my guess is that Marino starts. And I think at this point he's probably been dropped in a few leagues because it's been a while since he started and did something decent. So I would pick him up on the punt that he's going to start versus Everton in a great matchup.
Have you managed to check out the positioning of Rice and Marino today?
Yeah, Rice was back in the more
Number 6.
defensive role. Yeah, he was back at a 6, which that might also have something to do with how we looked. I mean, I think he can perform the left-sided 8 more attacking role. But I just feel like he's much better as a 6. And it's tough because Partey's actually had a really good season. So I get the headache for Mikel, but like we bought Marino for this kind of Xhaka like role, and that's when we were a bit more fluid. So I'm hoping that we revert more, at least in matchups like this, to that midfield 3. So
Yeah.
Hopefully today was the start of something different. So
Would you actively try to trade out Rice based on how it's set up now that he's back ghosting very well?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't, because he's still, I mean, those set pieces are just like a dagger. And
Yes,
they look dangerous every time you take them, and he's taking half of them. So I wouldn't, but I would certainly keep an eye on if this midfield 3 continues, and if his scores drop off a bit, then I would be kind of quick to pull the trigger and see the writing on the wall for Rice back as a 6. So something to keep an eye on. I never thought I would be recommending Timo Werner, but here we are with Brennan Johnson getting an injury. You'd think that Timo has a decent chance of starting this weekend. They're at Southampton, so obviously a good matchup. Spurs are going to be out of sorts, but there's not that many great forward streamers. And in the one league where I'm a bit light on forwards, I picked up Timo. So yeah, I like his chances if he's on the team sheet. I put Burgess and Greaves here because I still think it's kind of a coin flip who starts. They're at Wolves. Just like what you said about Palace, I think you can say the same about Ipswich defenders. It's kind of as a carousel of ghost points between Dara O'Shea and Tuanzebe beforehand, and now Burgess and Greaves. So whoever starts in that center back pairing with O'Shea should be ghosting decently, and with and out of sort Wolves, the goals will probably be at a minimum, hopefully not, but decent matchup, and they should be pretty active. So I don't mind them as a defensive streamer.
I have the same setup in the waivers article. I have Greaves as the headliner, but I mentioned Burgess too. I think Greaves is first choice, and I think he was rested this weekend because he came back from injury and played well, and he came on late.
That's right.
So I think in the long run, it's Greaves' spot. But Burgess was good and scored a goal. Had an assist ruled out, so he might have done enough to keep his job.
Yeah, we shall see.
I have my streamers here. Two of these we've talked about ad nauseum. Dean Geusen, the Spanish-Dutch centre back from Juventus, who is lighting up offenses, defenses all around the country in the Bournemouth back line.
A little disappointed this past weekend, I'm not going to lie. I had a bit higher hopes.
Yeah, he's put the bar very high.
Yeah. So Barney was the one that took all the ghosts, which was odd.
Very odd.
Yeah, a little preview for Ghost Point Hunters.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. So my second one also Bournemouth player Danga Utara, who single-handedly won them the game against Ipswich after coming off the bench and scoring 2. Capped with Tavernier off injured, so even if he was gonna get the John Duran, Harry Wilson treatment, he now has to start because Tavernier is out. So yeah, he should be a good streamer against West Ham. And I'm going back to the same game as you have Timo in, and I'm going the other side of the ball, Cameron Archer. It might as well be Adam Armstrong. In all honesty, I just don't.
Dude, who is going to be the center back pairing for Spurs? Freaking Dragusin and
it's going to be
Archie Gray.
Dragusin and Ben Davies, I think.
I think Davies is still out.
Is he?
I mean, he was injured the previous game week.
Yeah, true. So
it's not like he didn't come on for. I don't
Archie
remember
Gray
who came on for VDV.
Maybe we'll see Jet Spence.
Could do. I don't know who would. I don't know if Udogie or Porro could shift into center back and who would.
Oh, that would be.
Spot.
If I saw Udogie or Porro shifting into CB, I would start 2 Southampton.
Nice little stack.
Yeah, I mean, I think Archer is a bit better bet to get points.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Than Adam Armstrong, but yeah, I like Southampton's score here, even if they won't win.
Yeah.
I think Spurs will ultimately win this game and keep Postecoglou in his job, but I don't think they keep a clean sheet. They haven't kept a clean sheet other than Man City since September.
That's so freaking Spurs.
Yeah, very Spurs.
I think we should probably flag that the Bournemouth and West Ham game is the last game of the game week on Monday. So Ouattara is the one that, I mean, Howson's nailed on at this point, but Ouattara is still probably 50-50. So you'd want some cover there.
I would be confident in Ouattara.
I think he will too, but it's not a given.
It's not a given.
Could be, who knows?
keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. But I don't
I'd want a
hate.
slot open. Well, I mean, you could start him from the bench. I mean, obviously,
You could
kind of like Sinister at this point. He might be better from the bench than starting. But if you're
Yeah,
not
but
into the
also
whole,
you're probably fine starting Soler or Mavropanos or someone like that in a pinch if you have to.
yeah, that's what I mean. Just having the an extra slot to
Yeah,
cover.
exactly.
Yeah.
If he doesn't start this week, he'll keep on staying in my waivers article because then his
Yeah, he has
chance.
to at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what Vardy said. Every miss makes it more likely that I score the next one.
I mean, I think statisticians would disagree with that, but fair.
I mean, maybe all the Red Bull has helped him be good at maths.
Yeah, hey man, I can't really fault anything that Bard says.
Yeah, true that. So, in the end, young Genie did not make up
The field stood up.
his 30-minute tardiness turned into an hour and a half.
This is hella late.
This is hella late. He hasn't even dropped the line whether maybe he's late from tomorrow's pod.
Yeah, maybe the '90s rap one.
Yeah. Anyways, I think if you have no other final thoughts for our listeners, then we can wrap this up and say goodbye.
Let's
to
do
the
it.
muchachos and the muchachos.
Adios. Good luck this weekend, and yeah, let us know if you have any questions.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week, hopefully. But we'll be spotty during the Christmas period, but we'll drop the info in Discord and on Twitter as well. Adios.
Adios. Okay, bye.